Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Muscle22 here back for another episode of Doki Doki Literature Club. Now in this episode it's Reflection Part 2, and in Part 1 Yuri had an argument. Sorry if I seemed quiet there, my mic was down at my neck. But Yuri and Natsuki had an argument and Yuri fell out with Monika because Monika tried to fix it, tried to help Yuri and Natsuki. So I'm guessing this is going to be the resolve of that. A new day arrives. Sarah arrives at the club room earlier than usual. That is, not late. As she enters, it appears to be empty still, so she sits down at a desk and pulls out a sheet of paper, primed to jot down her thoughts. Sarah has made a habit of scribbling her thoughts and feelings into paper whenever possible, as it tends to serve as her best inspiration for poetry. My heart feels vacant because a ship sailed away. Yo! Hey, yeah! Natsuki? Natsuki pokes her head out from behind the closet door. Hahaha. Sorry, didn't mean to scare you. But it would have been a lot more awkward if I didn't say anything. I doubt you want me listening in on your poetry thing. Yeah. Thanks for realizing that. Should I let you finish up? Should I let you finish that up then? Oh no, it wasn't. I mean, I just do it whenever it's convenient. You're not interrupting. Where's Monika, by the way? Oh, she's out in the hallway. Huh? Why? Well, just in case she runs into Yuri. Sometimes Yuri is too nervous to come to the club room and sometimes Yuri is too nervous to come into the club room by herself. So, oh, jeez, does Yuri really let things bother her for that long? She can't control her feelings. For some people, it's really hard to cope when you get a bad thought in your head. Maybe you could distract yourself for a little while. Jesus. But as soon as it's just you and your thoughts again, it comes back. Yeah. I just want us to have a normal club meeting. It's a lot easier to pretend like it never happened if we all just ignore it and move on. I don't want to be bothered by this. It's so stupid. Her opinion of me doesn't matter anyway. Besides, it makes me feel really guilty, and I hate that too. It's okay to have feelings. It doesn't make you weak. Let's figure this out together. Fine. Only because you're good at this stuff. Let's try to come up with a happy scene. Oh my god, I thought we all did. Jesus. Maybe that will help us understand where your bad feelings are coming from. Well, I was happy the way things were before we had to have that conversation yesterday. What part of the conversation made you upset? Was it Yuri being mean about the manga? Maybe? I doubt it though. Because my friends and other people make fun of manga all the time, but I just brush it off and ignore them. But something about it really got to me this time. And I hate that I'm letting that happen. Is it because it came from Yuri? No. Why would that matter? I mean... well, maybe. I hate that she thinks she's so much better than me, just because she likes to pretend to be all sophisticated. Yeah, that's what it is. At least other people decide that they don't like me, or manga, or whatever. But Yuri acts like she's too good to even give it a chance. I'm sorry. Everyone deserves a chance. Yeah, exactly. Would you give Yuri's book a chance? Ha! After this? Obviously not. What about before this? Well, I would until I got bored, which wouldn't take very long. If you actually keep an open mind, then it's not hard to realise that a story can be deep and meaningful without being needlessly complicated. I see. But you know, I like Yuri's books. Yeah, but you like manga more, right? Sarah shakes her head. I like them both. I like them in different ways, but I like them both. I mean, the manga, it's really honest and fun and easy to just let go with. And the fantasy has a lot to interpret and uncover. It's really rewarding to have some good quiet time together with it. But the most important thing is that both the manga and the fantasy are true to themselves. So, I love them both. And I think there's room for both of them to be in the same club together. And I just feel like maybe they have more in common than you would think. Oh, music's gone. No, it changed. How do you get along with everyone so well? I always get into fights with people. Like first it was with Monica when I was new to the club, and then it was you, and now it's Yuri. Fuck. And I'm always like, oh, that person is being such a jerk, and if they just realised that, then we could at least get along. But nobody else has this problem. I just keep running away from the reality that everyone's just a jerk to me because nobody likes me. And I don't know why, and I don't know what to do about it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I hate it. Natsuki. Sarah puts a comforting hand on Natsuki's shoulder. You're a wonderful person. You deserve to be loved just as much. You deserve to be loved as much as anyone else. Everyone has different ways they like to communicate, you know? And sometimes that makes it harder for us to understand each other. I think that sometimes we get lucky and we make friends who are really good at the same kinds of communication, and it feels like you magically connect with them. But other times, even if both people are really nice, it's easy for them to misunderstand each other or to get the communication wrong. It's something that Yuri struggles with a lot with too. It can be really hard. It takes a lot of like reflection and self-awareness and vulnerability. I'm bad at that one. Vulnerability. I always have to be the strongest. What do you mean? Tell me about that part of you. Well, it sounds stupid, but I'm really used to people being mean to me. Like my friends, and I guess my dad. Like when I don't get good grades, or even stupid things like if my room isn't clean. So what am I gonna do? Cry about it? If I let myself get upset, then I'm just letting them win. I'm better than that. I'm better than all of them. So things always have to be everyone else's fault. Feels like if something goes wrong, and there's even a tiny hint that it might be my fault, then I just get really angry, and I find ways to blame it. For fuck's sake! And I find ways to blame everything else instead. Do you see yourself as better than Yuri? If I said that, then I would just sound really full of myself. No. Our thoughts and feelings are two different things. Even if we don't like our feelings, we have to understand them if we want to learn more about themselves. That's a part of vulnerability, you know? Accepting that we have feelings that we don't like. I hate that. My feelings make me a bad person. Because my feelings just want to tell me that I'm so much better than her. That she's a judgmental know-it-all who's stuck in her edgy phase that I'm just way above that garbage. But I... Oh my god, what the fuck is... yeah, what the fuck makes you yawn? I'm gonna tear that out of my fucking throat. But I'm terrible for feeling that way. You're not terrible. You are not your feelings. But you are not your feelings. Say that to yourself, out loud. Fine. I am not my feelings. The way that I like to picture it is that those feelings are like your roommate. You live in the same house and you gotta see each other every day. And even if you can ignore each other most of the time, you're gonna run into each other every now and then, and it's gonna make you feel like poop. So, the other option is to get to know each other. Communicate and learn from each other, and maybe even help each other change for the better. Why do you know so much about this stuff? Oh, I just have a roommate that can be along with. Called depression. Depression? Like, the happiest person I know. I am not my feelings. I want to be a good person like you. Aw, you little sweetheart. We're all good people. You, and Yuri, and Monica. And I think Yuri will eventually learn that about you. Natsuki remains silent, feeling a little overwhelmed. Despite Sayori's kind reassurance, a complicated mixture of pain and sadness seems to fill her, as though flowing from a wound inside her. Was it a result of her vulnerability? No, it wasn't as though she was inflicted a wound after becoming vulnerable. It was as though she began to rediscover an old wound, one that cannot simply be bandaged and left alone any longer. He's gonna go to Monica and Yuri now. Oh, yep. Yuri, what are you doing doing all the way over here? I was looking for you. Hi. Please don't yell at me. Oh, I'm not going to yell at you. I just wanted to say that I'm sorry about what happened yesterday. It was unfair of me to put everyone on the spot like that. Next time I won't just try and jump in and solve everyone's problems. I guess it's a bad habit of mine. You're not mad at me? I thought you were the one mad at me. I was so awful yesterday. Yuri curls up, recalling the details of the argument. I can't even have a normal conversation without saying something wrong and making everyone upset. Hold on, that's not what happened at all. Let's talk about this, okay? Yuri pauses for a second and manages a nod. Monica takes a seat next to her on the staircase. I'm having a lot of negative thought patterns and I can't get away from them. What kind of negative thought patterns? Like everyone hates me. Especially Natsuki. Aw, that's terrible. I don't think Natsuki hates you. How do you know? Well, because... Monica thinks back to the time that she herself found herself in an altercation with Natsuki, and how that display of maturity from Monica was enough for Natsuki to re-evaluate her own feelings as well. I think Natsuki's just naturally defensive. I think she acts mean when she feels the need to protect herself. But you know, she's not a bad person. In fact, I think she can be really thoughtful and considerate. She just, well, I guess the way it works is that she wants to receive some degree of kindness first before she feels uncomfortable returning it. Oh. But that means the burden is on me. And I don't know how to say things that make people like me. Every time I open my mouth, I just fucking yawn, apparently. Yuri shakes her head at herself and tugs it on her hair. It's okay, Yuri, you don't need to beat yourself up. I think anyone would like you if they had the chance to get to know you. Well, unfortunately, the opposite is true. That's why I'm not talkative anymore in the first place. Because everyone used to think I was weird and talk about me behind my back. That's just what happens when I draw attention to myself. Natsuki even said she found it more respectful when people speak their mind, so I did, and then she hated me anyway. That was enough to confirm my fears. But Sayori and I like you, and we've gotten to know you a lot by now, right? Yuri doesn't seem to have a response. Hey, what do you think of Natsuki? I don't think about her. That's not what I meant, really. I just... I was just wondering if you had an opinion of her. I do. What is it? Natsuki seems to bring the worst out in me. I said that in the wrong order. So Natsuki seems to bring the worst out. To bring out the worst in me, and I feel really ashamed of it. I like to think of myself as a fairly sophisticated person, so for someone to just treat me like I'm inferior despite my tastes, that's just the worst kind of insult coming from someone like her, and it makes me think bad things about her. But everyone else seems to like her, so the only explanation is that it's me who's doing something wrong again. My feelings about her are wrong, and I'm wrong to get upset over something so childish and inconsequential. No, Yuri. Feelings are never wrong. Well, they're not right. That's the thing. Feelings are never right or wrong, you know. They're just a state of being that we don't always have control over. But that doesn't mean they have to control us. I feel like that's something I learned around when I first started the club. We can hate ourselves for feeling a certain way about things, or we can, you know, just acknowledge that they exist and try to understand them better. I could never be mad at you for just feeling a certain way. It's about how you handle them. And I think working through feelings is a great opportunity for teamwork. Yuri wears a dejected expression. You make it sound so easy. You're so mature and so good with people. I feel like such a child in comparison. Oh, Yuri. I'm far from perfect. But these are learned skills. They didn't come naturally to me either. It's really hard to reflect on yourself and separate your feelings from your thoughts. I just want to be a good person. Well, I think it takes a good person to get this far. That's not good enough. I want to be able to communicate it to her. Communicate what? How I feel. How it makes me frustrated and upset when she's so negative and dismissive of the things that mean so much to me. And how it reminds me of me. Because I know what it's like to feel misunderstood and angry at everyone. I know that telling yourself that you're better than everyone else is just a defense mechanism. We're just people. We're fragile and unstable. But I'm just tired of that getting in the way. I can't stand it when the peace is disturbed like this. Yeah, you can't focus on your reading when the peace is disturbed, right? Because the literature club should be happy for everyone. Monica looks at Yuri in adoration. I feel like Sayori must be rubbing off on me, because I really want to hug you now. Sorry, didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. No, I mean, well, if you wanted to, then I wouldn't really mind, so... Monica pulls Yuri into a short embrace. Is this where the 3D drawing's gonna come in? No? You're so gentle. And I love when you communicate your feelings. I feel lucky to get to see that side of you. And I'm sure Natsuki will too. I'm going to write her a letter. Oh, a letter? What a great idea. Just because I'm not good at talking, especially under pressure. I always let my feelings get the best of me, and I forget to say all the important things. Fucking hell. And I say things I don't mean. Well, I think a letter would be wonderful. Such a nice way to communicate. Yuri's face hardens with determination. People don't naturally gravitate towards me like they do for you and Sayori. My personality just isn't suited for that. And I wouldn't want it to be. But something I've learned is that friendships don't always just magically appear out of thin air. For instance, I would never have seen myself making friends with someone like Sayori. We're opposite in a lot of ways. And we're friends with her because she put so much effort into understanding me so that we can get along. I think it was the same for you. You both gave me a lot of time and patience. And I wonder if she feels the same way. Natsuki? Yuri nods. I always thought that if I wanted to make more friends, I had to be somebody that I'm not. That there's a type of person or a magical formula I have to follow in order to make someone like me. And that's just like me to think that. Always so occupied with myself that I failed to understand other people. Yuri shakes her head. Friendship happens when you think about the other person. When you offer time and effort to understand them and respect them. Trust that they also want to be a good person. That's what I learned from my observations in the Laughter Club. Observations? Monika's caught by surprise. Yuri's always kept to herself so much that it's unusual to hear her suddenly talking about the club like this. But Yuri gently smiles to herself. You always let me listen to your thoughts about people. Sayori too. And it makes me happy, because I learn a lot of things. That's so sweet. I had no idea that it meant that much to you. Monika never thought much about it, but in the past weeks Yuri always seemed to be especially attentive when it came to the problems and concerns of others. Always wanting to listen and learn more about her friends in the club. It's true, Sayori and Monika are naturally more comfortable with other people and can more easily work through situations of conflict. But that doesn't make them better people. Everyone has strengths and weaknesses and the capacity to improve. And the first step towards improving oneself is reflection and self-awareness. It's something that Yuri never gave herself enough credit for, but that Monika can recognise as an incredible trait. And with that, her confidence in the club is restored. Fuck's sake. You guys won't see this because it's the telly, but yeah, the telly just popped up a notification for me. A very shy girl with long pretty hair is wandering the bustling lunchtime hallways, her fist pressed into her collarbone. This is before. Is it balance? No. Trust? No. Second one. I don't know what the second one is. When she finds the Literature Club president's classroom, she stands at the door, glancing all around her before peering inside. Monika is sitting and chatting with a group of unknown friends. Yeah, as expected, this was a bad idea after all. Suddenly, Monika glances towards the door, making the girl panic and duck out of sight. Before she can regain composure and decide to leave for sure, the classroom door gently opens. Oh! Alright, no it's not, it's just Yuri. Okay. Yuri, what a surprise to see you during lunch. Yuri squeaks her response. Please help me. What? Is everyone okay? Is everything okay? Yuri shakes her head. I don't know how to write letters. Thank goodness. I thought there was some kind of emergency. Monika briefly glances over her shoulder at her other friends. Do you want some help? We can Find an empty classroom or something. Is that okay? I feel bad taking you away from your friends. It's totally fine, I promise. We weren't really doing anything. One sec. Monica trots back into the classroom, says something like, I gotta go to her friends, then grabs a pen off her desk before returning to Yuri. Okay, let's find somewhere quiet. Yuri nods and follows Monica as the two of them set off. How were you today? Huh? Oh, yes. Oh gosh, sorry, I was just caught off guard. I'm doing well today. Just tired. I never seem to get enough sleep during the week. How come? Oh, I don't know. I think I'm just easily distracted. I get really sucked into things and start neglecting the time. Me too. I do that too. Hey, this classroom is empty. Let's go in here. Alright. What fucking school? And if this is based off a Japanese school, then I'm questioning, are Japanese schools just all the classrooms open? They just seem to find a classroom and go into it, no matter what the classroom is. After peering inside, Monica opens the classroom door and the two of them are. Yuri's moment of relaxation ends. She watches as Monica pulls two chairs up to the desk, as Monica beckons her to take a seat. She stares down at the empty desk. You nervous? Don't want to do this. We don't have to. We can come up with something else. Yuri shakes her head. It's my chance to do something good. I need to take initiative. Gosh, you must really be determined. I know how hard it is to step out of your comfort zone. I'll be sure to encourage you. Yuri pushes through her anxiety and grabs a handful of lined paper from her notebook. Then she picks up her pen. Hey, you're left-handed. That's neat. Ah. Yeah. Now I don't have to worry about bumping your arm. Monica playfully rubs shoulders against Yuri. Uh-oh, Yuri's gonna blush. Haha, sorry. I'm just being silly, I guess. Anyway, how about we start by listing the different things you want to say to her? Yuri thinks. I feel embarrassed all of a sudden. Oh, it's okay. How about some of the things you said to me yesterday? But, never mind. I guess I'll try. Yuri thinks for a moment longer and her tension evident. Then she writes the word reflection. This is about my reflection on our behaviour. The key question is why we act like this towards each other, but I've never been able to separately be friends with Sayori and Monica. But have been able to separately be friends with Sayori and Monica. That's me! Yes, it is. So, Yuri thinks. I've been able to befriend the two of you because you have taken the time to understand my needs and respect my interests. The same goes for Natsuki too. Oh wait, no. The same goes for Natsuki too. We started off as pretty hostile to each other, but because I was so worried about getting what I wanted, but she just wanted to be respected more than anything else. Once I stopped making it all about me, she was able to do the same. I want to do that too. So, what kind of things do you want to do for her? I want to do the same things for her that I'd like to receive. I like it when people respond positively to the things I talk about, and not just brush me off. I like it when my feelings are taken seriously. And I like it when you and Sayori trust that I want to be a good person, even when I'm not doing a good job of it. Let's write those things down. Okay. You write some things down. I think the most important thing to remember here is that Natsuki is feeling vulnerable, so we should try and make sure that the letter puts her first. It's hard when you're feeling hurt, but it never helps to just tell someone all the things that they're doing wrong. I think first you have to make sure that they know you're ready to respect them and listen to them, and admit the things that you feel you could do better. And finally, ask what you would like in return. How does that sound for the structure? It could be 3 paragraphs, one for each of those points. Oh! What the fuck? Since when can I do this? I was wondering what was happening, and it's just because I clicked square, it puts them away. This is bull. You tell me all those other fucking thumbnails, I could have just clicked square, and then I'd be able to select thumbnail and not have this little chat box at the bottom. That's some bullshit. I like that. My thoughts were so disorganised that I had no idea how to come up with any kind of structure. You're so amazing at the things. I'm trying other buttons now. Okay, so triangle and square do the same things, okay. You're so amazing at these things. Oh, stop. You've done so much more than I have, you know. You spent so much time reflecting and being open-minded that that's the hardest for anyone to do. All I'm doing is helping you put it on a piece of paper. So I think you're the amazing one. Monica gives Yuri's hand a quick squeeze, but as she lets go, she's caught by surprise when Yuri curls her fingers to hook Monica's hand in place. For a while they sit like silence, save for the occasional scratching of Yuri's pen against the paper. Yesterday you told me something that I'm thinking a lot about a lot. What was that? The thing about how feeling right or wrong, that they're just of being we need to come to terms with. You think about how a person's behaviour isn't always just how they decide to be. It's also made up of their past experiences and their insecurities. I think that helps me see as people rather than side characters who are out to get me somehow. Is that how you feel about Natsuki? Yuri nods. But in reality, everyone is always trying their best, and everyone wants to be happy. Monica peers over at Yuri's paper, but to her surprise, Yuri pulls it in closer with her arm. To help out, you know. It's thoughts are now being able to talk about that match and putting it on paper. I'd prefer not to read it. Yuri laughs to herself, a rare expression. I'm kinda glad to hear that, actually. I somehow keep finding ways to butt into this whole I've done enough damage. But it's always wonderful to talk about this. I always thought you were really smart, but Yuri smiles. I will always be terrible at these things. People are just so incomprehensible to me. I'll never get the hang of being one. But listening to you so much has really helped me make sense of some things. So just don't call it damage, please. Monica gives Yuri a gentle smile. Can't believe it. I came to this club looking for fantasy geeks. All I got was real friends who valued me. Is that a joke? Of course it is. I still can't tell with you. Sorry. No, I love it. Please never change. As you wish. Yuri glances at the clock. We're almost out of time. Will you be able to finish? Before the end of the day, probably. But I don't want to come to the club the same day that Natsuki reads it. I'm too shy. I can give it to her instead if you'd like. Yuri nods. As long as you promise not to read it. Of course, I promise. Thank you. Yuri exhales and the two stand up. I'll message you when it's ready. Monica. Good luck. If you Yuri returns the nod. The two depart. Okay, so that's what this is going to be. So this kind of bounced into Natsuki having a bad home life. I wonder. This is literally just because. This is literally just because of the second time round, the Doki Doki Literature Club, like the actual game. The second time round, Natsuki mentioned like his self-harming habits. If the next two parts is where she finds that out. Okay, now I'm not sure what my favorite is. My favorite is between. I've said the 3Ds. It's funny the only one that I wouldn't consider my favorite is this one. I think it's just Sayori, Yuri, Sayori, Yuri. Uh, Anything? Oh yeah, the final. Well, not the final. There's still one up here that I've still not got. I think that's supposed to be Natsuki's house. Because I think if you pick Natsuki, she... No, she does come to your house. Ah, the kitchen. MC's kitchen. Yeah. Anyway, so that's us for the day. If you like that episode, please drop a like, and I'll see you in this episode. And hopefully something else to play. Bye.